playing sad music for 1-1 because it's dead. The last of the giants. What's up, dudes? This is Ideas of Ice and Fire. And that's enough of that music. Stop! Stop! Oh god, it's still playing. Do I have like a... Why am I hearing it twice? God, there's got to be some weird explanation for why I'm hearing them. Okay, there we go. Now I don't hear shit. So no one's hearing an echo or anything, I hope. And I hope you all can hear me clearly. I promised you guys that I would sing I Am the Last of the Giants, but my voice is a little hoarse. And because I did have like a whole ordeal, kind of stayed up all night and stuff like that. I'm just going to take a sip of water. I did say on Twitter that I would sing it during this live stream or during my review. Oh yeah, yeah, he's great. Yeah, everything's gonna start. Okay, I guess I could give I Am the Last of the Giants just to try. Just to try. I mean, I'll sing a tad bit of it. Okay. How does it... Okay, I'll look up the lyrics real quick. And then we'll get to the review, but just as a tribute to the Last of the Giants, 1-1. I gotta throw a little R&B twist on it, you know I do. I am the last of the giants. My people are gone from the earth. And this is written by George R. R. Martin. The last of the great mountain giants who ruled on the world at my birth. Oh, the small folk have stolen my forest. They've stolen my rivers and hills. You know, that's just a little bit of it. So let's move on to the review though. Okay. So aside from 1-1 dying, a lot happened during this episode. It was pretty freaking intense. I gotta figure out how to work XSplit a bit. How do I get rid of my name? Okay, there I am. Okay. So this episode starts off, and you've got... it starts off right about where Dany's whole thing left off. And basically, her city's getting attacked, and she's looking at Tyrion. Okay, let me get to that part. She's looking at Tyrion like, what the fuck, man? Why is my city under attack? But I'm like, bitch, you started this war. You came to Slaver's Bay, and you completely just said F you to their culture and tried to end slavery. I mean, I know slavery is bad and whatever, but... I mean, you started this war. You can't look at Tyrion like, oh, why'd you start this war when it's your fault? But, man, budget. You can tell where their budget went. It all went to this episode. It all went to this episode because the moment... Thank you guys. You guys are nice. But from the moment that this episode started, it's like we've got, you know, the big epic ships and the attack. And it's like... You got the big sweeping shots that look all CG and stuff like that. And then you got, you know, the big dragon moment, which was epic. I did enjoy seeing the dragon. But the thing is, I don't feel as though a lot of people that don't read the books and only watch the show are going to get why Dany suddenly has control over not only Drogon, but the other dragons. Like, you might just look at this and be like, what the frick? She just kind of, you know, didn't have any control over them at first, and now she's like Sandra Cars, and they're breaking out when she gets there. Well, I can explain that a little bit because it is a little bit more clear in the books than it is in the show. So, in the books, at the end of A Dance with Dragons, Dany is literally dying in the Wastelands. And she's dying, and she's on the ground, and she dreams, and she hears the stars. The stars speak to her, and basically what they tell her is, remember who you are, Daenerys. The dragons know. Do you? Because throughout the entire 5th book, she's talking about, I gotta plant trees, gotta plant olive trees, because on her way to Meereen, they were burning all the plants and stuff, and the people are starving. So she's like, I gotta plant trees and try to grow this civilization. But at the end of the book, she realizes that dragons plant no trees. It's her destiny to be a conqueror and not necessarily a ruler. And the moment that she realizes that, she's able to call Drogon, and he comes to her, and that's where we're left off at the end of the 5th book. So, but in the show, they don't really do that. We got the scene last season where, a few episodes back, the last time we see Danny, I think, when she is talking to Dario and he's like, "You're a conqueror, that's what you are." But it kind of happened over the course of 2 seconds. It's way less impactful because she's literally dying when she has this experience in the book, and then she can control the dragons. But still, yeah. So you might not get it if the dragons are just kind of busting out like they are in this scene. It kind of was kind of a little moved on a little too fast, and you might not get it. But I did enjoy. Uh, I did really really like Grey Worm getting the masters and killing them. How he like kind of sliced their throats real quick. And oh god, these guys are total like assholes. They blame the other guy. They're like, kill him. He's lowborn. You're making the wrong mistake. Like, do you think that Grey Worm cares if he's lowborn? Grey Worm was a slave. Like, of course he's gonna be more likely to spare the lowborn one than the highborn one. I mean, come on. Missandei looking gorgeous in the background as well. Notice that Tyrion turns his head to the execution. Like Tyrion doesn't want to see it for some reason. Like Tyrion suddenly has a problem with killing. I mean, Tyrion, you've been in two major battles so far: Blackwater and the battle in the Riverlands with your father. And in the Riverlands, he was in the Vanguard. In the show, he just kind of gets knocked out. But in the books, he's in the Vanguard at that battle, which makes it way more cool. So Dario executes those guys, and Daenerys gets back her Meereen. That's what we all knew was gonna. Did we expect anything else to happen? I predicted earlier that Daenerys has the Dothraki now. She's got her dragons now. She's just gonna go back to Meereen, and she's gonna be like, slavery's over, and that's what she did. The Dothraki attacked the Harpies, and it is what it is. Daenerys got Meereen back. Let's move on. Great scene. The visual effects were top notch. Like and someone that loves movies in general, um, this looked amazing. And when you put it into context that this is a TV show, this is a television show, and they have dragons that look this good, look better than most dragons in the films. Ugh, you can't even. This is the best dragon that's ever been put on television. You can't deny that. I mean, it's like, say what you want about the plot and say what you want about everything else. These visuals are on point. Oh my God, they absolutely killed it with this episode. I see. I talk about visual effects a lot because I do really appreciate visual effects if they're good, whether they are practical or whether they are CG. Because honestly, people give CG a really hard time a lot of times, but CG is difficult. CG is not easy to master, and when it's bad, that's when people notice it. But when it's good CG, people don't notice it, and it doesn't tend to get the credit that it deserves for being how difficult it is to achieve something like this. Because it's not only is it just the CG model, it's also Danny riding the dragon, and they have to make it all look real and believable, and they did a really really good job. And also the city in the background smoking, and really fantastic scene visually, if not so much plot wise. But I'm gonna go a little bit easy on this episode because I really did enjoy this episode a lot, even though it did hit a lot of the beats that I expected. And let's get that Dracarys moment. Dracarys. she's so sexy. I mean, what can you say? Like, hot blonde chick on dragons. That's what it is. Okay, let's move on to outside of Meereen. We have, oh my God, this meeting between the Boltons and the Starks. Oh my God, Ramsay Bolton is such a dick. I love he walks up and he's like, my beloved wife Sansa, and he's just, and you got to realize how sick it is because he just raped this girl for like months, and now he's just smiling at her. And oh, Sansa's got really thick skin. I think I would have left earlier. What's with these subtitles? I think they're in French. Disable the subtitles, please. Yeah. So Ramsay is fucking evil, and Jon Snow. Okay, this is what frustrated me about this episode a little bit. Jon Snow acted not like Jon Snow, and I guess I'll talk about this when I get to the. Well, now I can skip ahead and talk about it because I'm looking at Jon Snow was not acting like Jon Snow. Okay, so Rickon, we saw what happened to Rickon, right? Jon Snow usually doesn't put himself, not recently, put himself in a position where he's just going to be so angry that he just lets all logic go, because he says, I'm going to make Ramsay mad and I'm going to piss Ramsay off, and I'm I'm gonna piss. Oh, I'm trying to read you guys' comments and look at and talk at the same time, and it's not really working out. He's like, I'm gonna piss Ramsay off, but then he lets Ramsay piss him off, and that's what's so stupid. Like, how in the hell have you? Is Sansa Stark the correct one in this situation? How the hell is Sansa Stark the one that's being logical and saying you don't know him, don't fall into the trap, and Jon Snow's just like whatever, I'm just gonna charge. I mean, what? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Jon Snow? Why would you do that? And Rickon, we all knew Rickon was gonna die. I said that. By the way, if you remember my other live stream, I did another live stream where I predicted everything that would happen in this episode. I predicted Rickon's death. I predicted the death of 1-1. I knew they were gonna take the castle. I knew they were gonna kill Ramsay. I said it would be cliche as fuck if they fed Ramsay to the dogs, but they did it. They did it, even though I said, but they fed him. I knew they were gonna do it. I didn't want them to do it, but they did it. Yeah, why wasn't Rickon running in zigzags though? Like, I mean, I get he was trying to get to Jon Snow on the horse, but and then they did the thing where it's like 1 arrow, 2 arrow, 3 arrow, and then you know it's not gonna come on the 3 arrow. They've got to get it just a little bit longer, and it's in the 4th arrow. You think the music dies down, and then it's death. Rickon is gone, and then Jon's looking really sad. You killed my brother. But honestly, Jon Snow's actions don't make sense. Like, it's so irrational to charge. Why would you do that? That it doesn't make a lot of sense to me why Jon charged. But he did, and he falls right into Ramsay's trap. Pause. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back to Davos, because Davos does something really interesting the night before, if I can find it. Before we get to the actual battle. Okay, Davos. So there's been a little debate. I wasn't too sure. Some people thought so, some people thought not. Whether or not Davos knew what happened to Meereen. Now, I suspected that he knew deep down, but wasn't certain. But in this episode, he definitely finds out, and you have right at the end, he's giving, after that. There's a shot at the end where he's giving Melisandre like the death stare. It's before, okay, here it is. There's it. Look at that stare. He's looking up at Melisandre like, oh my god, bitch, I'm gonna kill you. So he finds out that she killed Meereen, and I don't know what he's gonna do. If you remember back to season 3, he already tried to kill Melisandre once. And it looks like in the preview for the next episode that he is approaching Jon Snow like, look what she did to Meereen. Tell him what you did. And, you know, she did do it. She burned Meereen. She burned the innocent little girl. And it was for naught because Stannis still lost the battle. But honestly, the more and more this goes on, and I did watch the David and Dan's little speech that they gave after the episode. And the way they were talking about it, the way they were talking about the battle for Winterfell, it seems like this is not going to happen in the books at all. Like, they were saying, oh, we thought it made narrative sense. No mention of this being George's idea or anything. So I'm not sure if we're going to get Jon, Sansa team up and then take back Winterfell in the books, because it doesn't look like it can go that way anyways. I mean, but although Sansa is at the Eyrie, so it looks like Sansa might have something to do with bringing men from the Eyrie in the books, but it's not going to be like this, because the way they were saying it, and the way they were saying it, they were saying, they said, we thought it would make narrative sense for them to win the battle and for them to take back Winterfell. Okay, well, that's your thought and not necessarily George R. Martin's thought. So are they insinuating that the Winterfell doesn't get taken back in the books? I don't know, but I'm not 12 minutes late. I am here. I was here right on time. I started the stream actually a couple minutes before 3, actually. So yeah, maybe you should refresh your page, check again. But yeah. So what do you guys think? Is Davos gonna try and kill Melisandre again? And I don't think he might try to kill her, but I don't think he's gonna succeed. I feel like she might take off that necklace and be like, "I'm old." I feel like I don't know what that would do, but I feel like they're gonna do the reveal that she's gonna reveal to everyone eventually that she's old. I mean, why did they show us that scene in the opening if not? Maybe it was just a reminder that, oh, she is magical, in case you're wondering, but I don't know. But yeah, I'm interested. I want Melisandre to be happy with her real body. I want Melisandre to just be like, this is what I really am. This is what I really look like, and then either accept me or don't accept me. But anyways, yeah, I want Davos to strangle this bitch. Basically, is what I'm saying. I do. I like Melisandre, but she is evil. I mean, she's not directly evil, but she is she causes evil and mayhem wherever she goes. If it wasn't for her, all those men wouldn't have burned on Blackwater. It was her filling Stannis' head up with "You are the one true king" and making Stannis. She's led to all this destruction. Like, Melisandre is a huge bitch. Like, she's caused a lot of problems throughout all of Westeros, and she's done more evil than good. So I'd say kill the bitch. I say kill the bitch. Okay? So screw Melisandre, even though she is pretty cool. Let's get back to Jon being. Let's go to Jon and Sansa's conversation too. Like, because I was talking about this earlier. How in the hell is Sansa right in this situation? This makes no sense. Like, Jon isn't even willing to listen. She's like, and why is she not telling him about the Eyrie? Why is she not telling him? Both Jon and Sansa are being incredibly stupid. Like, incredibly stupid. Sansa, by initially not telling Jon about the Eyrie, like when Littlefinger first approached her and said, "I can help you," she should have went to Jon immediately and said, "Oh, yeah, we got these men from the Eyrie." Because it doesn't make sense for you to be arguing with Jon here saying, "We need more men." From his point of view, that's impossible. How is he supposed to know anything if you don't tell him that we have men from the Eyrie coming? And Jon, at the same time, this woman did live with Ramsay. She knows how he acts. And don't say that you're going to make Ramsay angry and that you're going to put him in a trap if later on you're just going to fall into a trap. You're just going to let your anger get the best of you and charge into a fucking army? Like, right into a trap? Jon Snow, that doesn't make any sense. Jon, don't do that. That was really... But that was the main thing that I thought was really frustrating. I get that Sansa doesn't trust anyone, but come on. They've got it. Their brother and sister. They should, they gotta be on the same side. I mean, they cannot have this whole secrecy thing. That's gonna destroy them both. That's gonna end up destroying everything. I mean, they've got to trust each other. They are the last two, basically the last two Starks left, other than Bran. I don't think Bran's ever gonna reinitiate into society. But, come on. Come on. And, yeah, Jon Snow lets his anger get the best of him, and he charges into the freaking crowd. Let's not get to the fucking ridiculous Yara and Dany scene yet. And let's not get to that just yet. But Jon Snow charges like an idiot after Rickon dies, and it leads them into a trap, obviously. Okay, let's get to the part. It was pretty epic, though. Like, the moment that Jon Snow realizes that he's screwed, and it's like, and then it is shot. It is shot very well. That's what I can say. Like, and then the rest of the mounted men charge, and it's like this clash. By the way, this is the most brutal and like gritty battle that's been on Game of Thrones yet. It topped Blackwater for me in the amount of like brutalness, because honestly, because I guess it's because these are northern men, so it's in northern men and wildlings, so it's not like direct sword play. They have like axes and they have like all this other stuff, so it's more like bashing people's heads in and stuff like that. There's a lot of head bashing in this episode, and then here we got Ramsay like an idiot firing on his own men. Like, just so he can get to that doesn't make a lot of sense, Ramsay. Do you have any have you ever led an army before? I mean, like, why are you firing on your own men? That's why Davos says, no, we'll only hit our own men. It doesn't make any sense to do that. I guess Ramsay feels like he has men to spare, but he doesn't, because he didn't realize that the people from the Eyrie was coming. Also, nitpick. This is super nitpick right here. But Jon Snow is not wearing a fucking helmet, and he's not really wearing any armor. He's wearing leather, it looks like, but he's not wearing armor. Like, that doesn't make any sense. He should have on. I mean, they couldn't find a helmet for Jon. I don't know. Maybe they were at a shortage of armor, but he is leading this army. He should at least have armor and a helmet. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they do this in movies and they do this in TV shows. So I'm not going to criticize Game of Thrones too much for that, because they have to show the main character's face. They have to show the hero's face and whatnot. And so I get it. So yeah, one cool scene was when the Boltons made that circle around the Starks. This thing, it was pretty great. Because they fell right into the trap, and it's Jon Snow's fault that more of them died than should have died because Jon Snow charged. They fell right into the trap, and it's like, I mean, come on. But this was an epic scene. What can I say? The Jon Snow trampling scene was fantastic. I really enjoyed. It was very tense, even though I was pretty much 100% sure that Jon Snow was not gonna die because he's Jon Snow. He's already died once. They're not gonna kill him again. At least not yet. A lot of people have been talking about Jon Snow being hoisted up right here, and saying that it parallels Dany's scene from season 3, where she's outside of the gates of Yunkai, I believe, and all the slaves hoist her up. They're saying that it's that Dany is hoisting herself up. Yeah, you are right. You are right. Stark armor is leather. You are right. From what from if yeah, I could be mistaken. I'm probably mistaken. But yeah, people are saying that it's Dany being hoisted up and Jon Snow pulling himself up, and that's supposed to represent something. It doesn't represent shit. They just thought the scene looked cool. They just thought it looked cool to have him coming out of the thing and like struggling for air. I mean, it is similarly shot, but I don't think it's no. It's nothing. It's nothing. I don't trust anything that David and Dan do. So the men from the Eyrie get there eventually. Who is that? That's Davos, right? What are they doing? Oh, look at this. I did enjoy seeing Tormund kill this asshole. Forget his name because they betrayed the Starks. Oh, I ripped his freaking neck out. That's brutal. Oh, holy shit. Okay, I don't want to get any, like... Okay. The men from the Eyrie get there. They smash the Boltons. And look at Sansa. Look at Sansa. So smug. Like, yeah, I'm winning this battle. I mean, Sansa... Come on, like, if you had not been a little idiot and gone to Jon Snow in the first place and let him know that they could have had the men from the Eyrie this entire time, you would have saved everybody a lot of suffering and a lot of stress. You were just being a bitch, okay? So don't look all smug and smile. I mean, you did save the day by little. I mean, it wasn't even you saving the day; it was Littlefinger. So I don't even know how much credit we can give Sansa. Yeah, Umber, fucking Small John Umber, which makes no sense because I love the part in the earlier seasons where he's like, "I would have killed my dad too." That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Like the Small John would not have said that about the Big John. Okay, shut up. No, no. Uh, but anyways, Sansa's smug little smile here, like I saved the day. I don't know how much credit we can give her because she could have made smarter decisions and we could have had the day saved even before that. So Ramsay realized he's fucked, and he decides to retreat. And of course, Jon Snow is gonna chase after him. Look at him. I think that in his head, that Ramsay is still thinking, "Oh, that I might still make it out of this alive. That I might still find a way to get out of this." Because we notice, like even in the end, when Sansa is in there with him and she's about to feed the dogs, so he's all like, "My dogs aren't gonna harm me." Dude, you haven't fed them in a few days, so they're gonna come after you. But anyways, you have the Jon Snow and 1-1 chase scene, and look at Sansa. Okay, Ramsay, okay. Here we go. He's all like, "No one can get through the gates of Winterfell." But I think you forgot about the giant, dude. Because but it's kind of like they kind of don't overuse 1-1. I get they're killing him now, so they're not going to overuse him. But we've already seen pretty much this exact scene before, earlier in the season when 1-1 breaks down the wall at Castle Black. But this one was a little bit more intense, a little bit more epic. So I did enjoy seeing 1-1 break through the wall. But what I enjoyed seeing way more than that, not 1-1's death. I don't want to see that again. I enjoyed seeing Jon Snow go absolute first men, northern savage on Ramsay. Let's just play this entire scene because it's so good. Just fucking beat him. Kick his ass, Jon Snow. Yes! Hit him again. And again. And again. Kill him. Beat him. I would have preferred him just be beat to death than eaten by the dogs. But I get that they had to give Sansa that moment. But yeah. Beat him, Jon. Kill him. Savage. Yes. Yes. That's the wildling blood. The Starks have the wildling blood. Yeah. Yeah, that's that wildling blood in this motherfucker. Yeah. Okay. So I was a little bit scared at the end that they were gonna have Ramsay smiling as he died, because that would have been really annoying. But he did kind of he was kind of like I'm still gonna get out of here. There's some other way, but there's no other way, Ramsay. I really wish there could have been a worse death because honestly, the dog eating thing was. Come on. Even if you love this show, which I do, I love this show to death, but even the dog eating thing, you gotta admit, it was predictable. It was super predictable. We knew that Ramsay was gonna get eaten by the dogs. But at first, I was holding out a little bit of hope. I thought it might have been Ghost at first that was gonna eat him when I heard the growling. But then I remembered, well, Ghost does growl in the show. Ghost doesn't make any noise in the books. But speaking of Ghost, where is he? What I don't know what's going on. Are we? Is this gonna be mentioned again? Where is Ghost? Ghost hasn't been seen since like episode 2. And Ghost usually never leaves Jon Snow's side. Jon Snow takes Ghost everywhere. He fights in battles with him. Like, where has he been? Like, okay, I think I get what's going on. And this seems like a choice of more the show runners than anything. I think it's a budget issue. And I think that's why they are killing. I think that's why they are killing all the direwolves off. And I think that's why Ghost hasn't been around in a while because it's a budget thing. And I don't know why. I feel like this episode has been a chunk of the budget, and I feel like episode 10 will be an even bigger bit of the budget because I feel like in episode 10 we're probably going to get the wall falling. We're probably going to get a lot of other stuff in episode 10. We're going to get some more White Walker actions, probably some more really epic shit with Bran. We're probably going to get that big Tower of Joy reveal. All you people are going to get your R plus L equals J. And I hope you all are freaking satisfied. But either way, no matter what happens with the Tower of Joy scene, I know that I'm gonna make a lot of fucking money. Just kidding. Well, not just kidding, because let's say I was proved right, and I know the show's not gonna do this, and my R plus L equals J series is correct. Then I'll get a bunch of people going to my videos, but probably even more so if I'm proved wrong. Then I'll get a bunch of angry people on my videos. But nonetheless, you'll go to my video, you'll dislike it, I'll get thousands of views in that very day, and I win either way. So your hate doesn't really do anything to me, and it's fine. It's all welcome. It's all welcome, guys. So let's see Ramsay get eaten real quick, and then I'll go make fun of Dany's stupid scene with Yara. Yeah, first you get this adorable dog. Look at him. He's just a little puppy. Look how he's adorable. He's adorable. So he's licking him. He's like, oh, that blood tastes good. Ramsay, what'd you expect? They were going to turn on you one day. You made them like flesh. I mean, you fed them people. And you think they're just not going to eat you when you're fresh and bleeding? Oh, after they haven't eaten in 7 days? Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. He's delicious. I bet he's just good. Look at him. Munch, 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 munch. Yes, feed. Feed, doggy. Feed. Alright. I hate Ramsay. I'm so glad he's dead. Okay, let's get back to Donnie's retarded scene with Yara and Theon. Probably my least favorite scene this entire episode. One of my least favorite scenes ever, honestly. Okay. So we got Theon Greyjoy, and Tyrion's giving him a little bit of a hard time. He's like, motherfucker, you were mean to me. You called me names for being a dwarf when I was at Winterfell. Tyrion, get over it. And then you got Yara flirting with Dany, and Dany flirting back, which makes no sense. Look, I don't give a shit about lesbians. My sister is a lesbian. I don't care. But, like, the thing is, I don't believe there's any indication that Yara is a lesbian in the books. She's, like, this pirate chick, and she only screws men. But Dany, on the other hand... Dany sleeps around. Dany sleeps with her handmaidens like all the time. Like she doesn't give a shit. Dany will sleep with anyone. So Dany has got a little bit of the bisexual thing going on. That's in canon. But honestly, this scene was just kind of like it felt so forced. It's like I wouldn't mind taking the queen for a ride because the Yara being into women thing just kind of happened like out of nowhere and no one. I don't care about it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. But it's kind of it seems so forced. Like they're just doing it just so like the little people at home can just kind of be like, look, lesbians, and it's whatever. It's fine. It's fine. I'd rather see Dany with Melisandre. Honestly, I was totally for a minute before Grey Worm came in the picture. I was shipping Dany Melisandre I want to see some of that action. Dany, Yar, it's fine, but whatever. And also, we got Dany here. Daenerys Targaryen, Slayer of Cultures. I mean, so first, she's gonna tell the Dothraki to go to Westeros, and I guess the Dothraki, when they get there, aren't gonna be reaping and raving anyways. I mean, either. And so the Ironborn aren't. Okay, explain to me how you're gonna change thousands of years of culture with just this small little decree. No more reaping and raving, and it's just okay. Okay, and Yara, everyone's just gonna follow you and just be like, okay, this chick tells us no more reaping and raving, whatever. That doesn't make any sense. You think they're gonna stop just because you tell them to stop? If it Look, the reason that the whole Meereen bit seems so long and drawn out is because it's supposed to demonstrate that when you go into this culture, this civilization that's been the same for thousands of years, you're gonna get a lot of pushback. No one's just gonna immediately just be like, okay, we're just gonna let it all go. Just let everything go. The Dothraki are just gonna let their culture go. The Meereenese are just gonna let their culture go. The Ironborn are just gonna let their culture go and just go under your new set of rules. I get it. I mean, Dany as a character, if you don't understand this character and what she's supposed to represent now, then I don't know what to tell you. She is supposed to represent, that kind of mythic character of change. She's meant to change the world through fire and rebirth, but at the same time, this scene was just poorly done. And there's no way it would just be like, yeah, let it go. There's no way it would just be like, there's no way she'd just be like, okay, you gotta just give up everything that the culture that you grew up in, and she'd just be like, okay, I'm fine with that. It's whatever. Yeah, where is Ghost? Where is it? Not surprisingly, even though a lot happened in this episode, not a lot happened in this episode. We get Melisandre here, who's basically telling Jon Snow, I don't have any power, and I don't serve you. I serve the Lord of the Light. So if you die and I want to change you back, then I'm gonna bring you back, basically. And also here we get another little hint at Jon Snow's special birth. He's all like, "Why me?" And she's like, "I don't know." And who knows? I still feel like the showrunners might pull a fast one on everyone and give us something that we're absolutely not expecting at all in the Tower of Joy. I feel like they still might do that, but we're gonna see. Yeah, Melisandre has no power apparently, even though you can conjure shadow babies. I mean, I guess it's the Lord of Light that's giving her the magic, I guess. But I don't necessarily buy it. I feel like it's coming from her, and she just needs to be confident about it. We did get another hint earlier in the episode where Tyrion is asking Dany about her father. He says, "You know what your father was. So you're talking about burning down cities, and you're talking about killing all these people. Your father had wildfire all throughout the kingdom." Tyrion actually says that. Like I've been saying, guys, they're building up to it. Episode 10, we're going to see the fall of King's Landing, and it's going to be magnificent and glory-filled. What else happened in this episode? It was a solid episode, I'll give it that. I will give it that. It was very solid. Visual effects were on point. The cinematography was on point. Everything else was very predictable. Nothing happened in this episode that I did not expect. Although I did expect Tormund to die. I thought that maybe Tormund would die, but that's pretty much the only prediction that I was off on. That was the only one, was the death of Tormund. I knew that Rickon was gone, because there's no way they're going to keep Rickon around, because Sansa is the key to the north. They're setting that up. They've been setting that up. I knew Rickon was out of here. I knew 1-1 was out of here because they're the budget. I knew it. I knew that they were going to kill 1-1 during this battle. It's just the perfect time. It's totally formulaic at this point. It's totally formulaic at this point. It's very easy. It's an algorithm at this point. You know what's going to happen. It's really easy to predict. And if you don't believe me, you can go watch my other videos, watch my other live streams. I said all this stuff. But they did build up some tension. The Jon Snow trampling scene was pretty great. As I said, it was fantastic. One of the most gritty and brutal battles that we've seen so far, because it's a northern battle. It's great. It's great. Much better than the Wildlings versus Stannis, which was kind of just, it happened so quickly, and it was kind of disappointment. But look at 1-1 out there being a beast, over there 1-1. Jon Snow going straight savage. Look at him. Like I like seeing. See, I was waiting so long for Jon Snow to be like a badass with a sword. He's freaking savage in this episode. Absolutely savage and insane. Like just bashing people's heads in and just. Oh, it's great. It's great. Savage Jon Snow. I like that Jon Snow is not the freaking sad, mopey. Oh, he's still mopey and sad, but. So now that this battle is won, and now that Sansa has Winterfell, I'm interested to see what Jon Snow is going to do now because he might not want to stay at Winterfell necessarily. Because it's Sansa's claim. Sansa is now the Lady of Winterfell. And Melisandre, you're toast, by the way. Sansa is the Lady of Winterfell, and because Rickon's dead, Bran is not coming back. So I'm interested in what Jon Snow is going to do. Can I please get the Jon Snow that just lives in the shadows and basically what I want is Slayer Jon Snow, like Lord of the Rings, like how Aragorn was Slayer for a while. That's what I want from Jon Snow. I would literally die to see that. I would rather see that than Jon Snow as Azor Ahai any day. But I get it. They're rushing it. We only got like 13 episodes left, and they gotta do what they gotta do to put it all together. So, okay. I think I have to rate this episode on two different on two different levels because if I and by the way, I'm gonna take some questions after this review is done and ask you guys what you thought about the episode. How long have I been going? I've been going for 36 minutes. Okay, so this will probably be like a little bit over an hour. If I had to rate this episode, I'd go cinematography. Oh my god, like a 9.7. It was great, and the visual effects were oh my god, amazing. For if I have to take these visual effects in this show and compare these visual effects to any other TV show, then this show gets a 10 every time. So 10 on visual effects, and acting, pretty solid acting all the way through for the most part. A little bit shaky on Dany, just a little bit. I felt like some of her delivery was a little bit, like for example, when she's all like, "My reign has just begun," and maybe it's in the writing, maybe it's not Dany's acting, because she's a good actress most of the time, except some of her lines just come off a little bit as just a tad bit cringeworthy. But yeah, acting, I say the acting was solid 9 all the way through. Now here's where I piss off some people. Um, Writing. The writing hasn't been very good this season in general, and this episode is really no exception. I mean, it basically went where it went. It went. I mean, there was no real like moment where you said, "I don't know what's going to happen," because you knew what was going to happen the entire time. There was like if you expect Dany to lose her city here, you're an idiot. If you expected them to not take back Winterfell after Ramsay has been the bad guy, like the evil, evil bad guy since basically season 3, of course we're getting rid of this character. They've hyped up the Battle of the Bastards. Jon Snow just got brought back to life. And there's no way that it could turn out any other way. So I felt like a lot of the tension was lost because of the way they set everything up. But it was lacking in writing for the most part. And that Dany scene with Yara and Theon was probably one of the worst scenes that I've ever seen in my entire life. It was just whatever. And when I talk about characters being annoying like Sansa and Jon, it's not necessarily bad writing. It's just that the character is annoying me at that time. But I felt like specifically with Jon Snow this episode, it was really out of character, and I can't even stress that enough that it was really out of character for him to do what he did, and kind of put the entire battle in jeopardy. It was pretty ridiculous. Okay. So I really, but for the Danny scene, if I just listen to the music and I just watch what's going on and I don't pay attention to like the story or anything, I mean it's just an amazing scene. I just loved it when the Dothraki charged. It was incredible. Like you see, and Dario, whatever Dario, I would have rather seen a Dothraki chop off someone's head and not stupid Dario. I don't care about your Dario. Screw you. But yeah, the the stream is dead. Ugh. stream is dead? Fuck. I didn't even... It tells me that the stream status is good, but it's not good, and it's dead. And, I haven't even been noticing either. It's just been... I haven't even been noticing. My stream is dead. Let's stop this. I think, is the stream back? I think it was because I was playing the footage. I think that's what it was. And I think I can't play the footage anymore. So let's not do that anymore. Say, oh god, I didn't even know that the stream was going down. But when you guys watch this live, it should be fine when it goes public, because I am recording this offline as well. So that sucks. How many times has it gone down? I haven't been paying attention to the chat enough. I think it has something to do with maybe a copyright issue, perhaps. Okay. Yeah, that sucks. I think it's probably a copyright issue with HBO that's going on. And yeah, that's probably been my fault. You haven't been hearing anything that I've been saying. See, this is what we do. This is what happens when I say, fuck it, we're doing it live. And, you know, we have these issues. That sucks. I am really, 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 really sorry about that, guys. It's a YouTube issue. It's an HBO problem. So I know now. Don't play footage. Just do the clips. So that is what I will do. I'm very sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize that issue was happening. I did not. Let's get up. No more clips. Shut up. Okay. I did not realize that issue was happening. It's fine now, so. It's fine, but basically I was saying that Dany's scene was great. Writing this episode was the low point. Okay. I'm not going to sing again, and maybe until the end. Okay, it's time for you guys' questions anyways. So let's get to you guys' Q&A. And what did you guys think of this episode? Did you like it? Did you hate it? I can't get this back situated. Whatever. Did you like it? Did you hate it? You got any questions for me for what I thought? I lost about 300 viewers. Oh, that sucks. I mean, well, I had to download the episode in order to do this stream. I mean, I do have HBO Now, as you guys see in every review. You guys hated it? Oh, great battle, terrible episode. Yeah, I would say that it was the CG was like, it looked fantastic, but it just kind of just went, and we just kind of knew it all, and it just kind of went. It just kind of went on and on and on. It was very predictable. I do agree. Do you think Jon will see the rest of the Tower of Joy scene? Do you think we will see the... Okay. If they don't show us the Tower of Joy scene, then I don't even... Why did they show it to us early on? I feel like they got to... I'm going to put you guys' comments on the screen so that I can look at them. I'm so sorry about the stream going down. That sucks. Yeah, I feel like they've got to show the Tower of Joy scene, or otherwise it was pointless to put it in the earlier episode. What's the point? What else? So many questions. Q&A. What do you think is going to happen to the members of the Karstarks, Umbers, and the Boltons' armies? They really need people to fight the others. I think at this point, since the North is united under the Starks, and Jon Snow knows what's going on beyond the wall, and Melisandre is there, then they have no other choice but to prepare for what's about to come. Like, we just experienced the victory this episode, but in the next episode, the real threat is coming, because I personally believe that the wall is going to come down, and since the North is finally united, they're going to have to... The North is the first frontier, basically. And then you got Dany, and she's got to get what she's doing with the Ironborn done, and then basically Dany is going to get together, and they're going to get up there too. But basically what's happening, what it looks like to me, is that they're bringing everyone together so that everyone can basically get together and fight the White Walkers. That's what it seems like. Because George R. R. Martin said in a long time ago that in the sixth book, way more about the nature of the White Walkers would be revealed. And in this season, not a lot about the nature of the White Walkers has been revealed other than their origin. So I have a feeling that in the books, it's probably going to be more like the White Walkers have more of a culture and they're more like us than they are unlike us, I think. What happened to needing 1,000 ships? What happened to who needing 1,000 ships? Danny needs 1,000 ships. The wall is not coming down. You don't think so? I don't know. We will see. I mean, there was that little joke with Dolores Ed earlier this season where Jon Snow says, try not to bring down the wall while I'm gone." He says, "Try not to bring down the wall while I'm gone." I felt like that was a little nod to the fact that it's coming down. Um, do you think? Do you know dragons could? Did you know that dragons could hover? Were dragons doing hovering in this episode? Oh, they flap their wings and they kind of blow the fire. Yes, the drawings in the World of Ice and Fire are very similar. I didn't see any problem with the design of the dragons specifically has been very on par with the books. I mean, their color is slightly different, I think, but for the most part, the design of them is very on par with the way they're described in the books. So I don't see any problem with the way the dragon. I don't see any problems with the way the dragons behave during the show. Who is the Lord of Winterfell and who is the Lord of the Dreadfort? Well, as for the Dreadfort, it's up to. Okay, well, as for Winterfell, Sansa. Sansa is the Lady of Winterfell. I mean, technically Bran, but I don't feel like Bran is ever going to reinitiate in society, so Sansa is the Lady of Winterfell. As for the Dreadfort, it's up to Sansa to decide who rules the Dreadfort. Now, the thing is, Sansa is still a fugitive of the crown because everyone thinks that she had something to do with the murder of Joffrey. I guess I'll go a little bit longer on the stream than I said, guys, because of the issues with shutting down and stuff like that. Apologize again. Yeah. Sansa is still a fugitive of the crown. So if anything, she's not recognized. She wouldn't be recognized as Warden of the North by Tommen or anything. But she could just declare herself Queen of the North, and the North would support her. I mean, there's no reason that they wouldn't support the daughter of Eddard Stark. So Sansa is basically got her hands in it as Queen of the North. And that seems like where it was leading in the books, that Sansa would be Queen of the North. Do you think that Arya took a face and will disguise as Walder Frey's new wife, and the wedding she will kill him? We know he likes them young. It would make for a better red wedding. Oh God, and then Jaime dies too. Oh my God, if they did that, I'd be so disappointed in the showrunners. And you know why I would be disappointed? You know why I would be extremely disappointed? It's because she's not no one. I mean, they can't wear the faces until they're no one, and that's why. I mean, she would have to have a face from the wall, and she would have to put that face or like stuff it in a baggie or something and take it across Winterfell and then put the face back on and then be in the Riverlands at the right time. It wouldn't make any sense, and I'd hate it. I would literally cry if that happened. Not literally cry, but you know how that is. Do you think that all of this would be in the Winds of Winter? Absolutely not. A lot of this is not going to be in the Winds of Winter. It can't. There's no way it could possibly go down like this in the Winds of Winter. Like, it's very different. And like I said before, the way that D&D were describing the battle and the way they were all like, we felt like it made narrative sense for this, and this, it doesn't seem like it was George's idea. It does not. Seems like more likely in the books that Stannis will take Winterfell, but I don't know because they killed him in the show. But I don't know. But it seems like he'll probably take Winterfell in the books, or maybe not. I don't know. But definitely, it's going to be really different. What do you think about the similarities between Aegon and Daenerys? Oh yeah, it was very similar. She is the conqueror. I mean, she's what can I say? She is basically the female Aegon at this point. She's got our 3 dragons, but also Aegon never really. There was always someone riding the dragon with Aegon. He had 2 sister wives, Rhaenys and Visenya. And basically, it's because the dragon has 3 heads, which is why it didn't make a lot of sense to see them all just listening to her and them all just doing what she tells them to do. From the show, I feel like it'll be explained more in the books, but I do have a little bit of context from the books. As I explained before, she accepted the fire side of herself, she accepted the Targaryen side of herself, she accepted the fact that she's a conqueror, not necessarily a ruler, and that's why she is able to control the dragons more, because right after that fact in the books, she's able to call to Drogon and he comes to her pretty much immediately. So, I don't know. Aegon with tits. Yeah, that's definitely what she is. At least what they're building her up to be. If not, I'd be shocked. Isn't anyone worried about the huge bodies piled on top of one another outside of Winterfell, basically waiting for the others to come along? You see, I'm not entirely sure how the magic works, though. Okay. But apparently, maybe in the show they might throw it all away, but it seems like you have to die beyond the wall in the books in order to be brought back. Because the 2 bodies that woke up at Castle Black died beyond the wall. But then again, if the wall comes down, then perhaps all bets are off. So that could be a gigantic problem. That could be a gigantic problem if the wall does come down. Question: With the Tower of Joy flash? With the Tower of Joy flag? Okay. Question: With the Tower of Joy flashback, isn't confirmed that Jon's sword? What? With the Tower of Joy flashback, isn't confirmed that Jon Snow's sword Dawn? I don't know what you're talking about. Do you think that the bodies in the Winterfell crypts will all be reanimated? No, because they're not bodies; they're bones, like ancient bones. No, they can't be. And if they were, I'd be a little shocked. Yes, Ghost. Where is he? No one knows. Ghost is by Jon Snow's side all the time in the books, and now he's out of here. He's gone. Like they never even. I don't know. I feel like it's a budget issue, which is sad. Will Loras die? Who cares? He's spoiler alert. He dies in the book pretty horribly, actually, and it's a completely different situation. But he does die pretty horribly in the books. It's a very terrible death at Cersei's hand. So yeah, it's pretty fucked up what she does to him. Do you think that the High Septon is a pawn of Littlefinger? Nah, the High Septon is not a pawn of anyone. The High Septon has his own agenda. He has his own agenda. The High Septon is on a manipulation level that's like basically to the level of Littlefinger and Varys, except that he is really up there. He's really fucking. He's got the king under his freaking. He's got the king to freaking betray his own mom. Like that's something that Littlefinger and Varys never achieved. So the High Sparrow is doing his own thing. Do you think that Cersei is gonna burn herself and everyone on King's Landing? I mean, they didn't show the Valonqar thing in the show. Probably. I think she might try to escape, but in the end, she'll end up dying. Or perhaps it'll be more like, I don't know. Perhaps it'll be more like I don't care anymore and I just want to die. But then the thing is, her love for Jaime is seemingly what's keeping her going, and the love for her children. So she really loves her children. So I don't know if it'll be necessarily I want to burn down the whole city. It might be more like I'm just going to burn down the Sept of Baelor, and then the whole city just takes up in flame. Maybe. Or maybe she'll just be like, fuck the entire city and burn the whole thing because she doesn't give a shit about the people. What if Tormund gets the Dreadfort? Tormund shouldn't get the Dreadfort. He doesn't understand anything about fighting, about like actual like battles and stuff like that. Like in the scene where they're all planning and stuff, and they're talking about how the Boltons aren't going to be able to attack from the side. Tormund doesn't get it because he's a wildling. They don't understand that type of sophisticated fighting. They don't get it because they're more wild. That's why Stannis was able to defeat them so easily. They should get someone that's actually like Davos. I feel like Davos would be a better Lord of the Dreadfort. Like Sansa should make Davos the Lord of the Dreadfort, or even better, Brienne. Make Brienne the Lord of the Dreadfort. That'd be awesome. I'd love that. Do you think Sansa and Jon will become a couple similar to Arya and Jon in the original draft intention? That'd be weird. That'd be out of nowhere. I wouldn't. That'd be weird. I don't think the showrunners are gonna do that. No. Do you think that Robb Stark's legitimization of Jon Snow letter will be ever uncovered. I forgot all about that. Okay, that's just in the books, right? Or is that in the show as well? I forgot all about that. It could be. It certainly well could be. And if that is the case, then Jon Snow would have a claim to Winterfell over Sansa. But at the same time, would he want it after being brought back from the dead? Jon Snow currently seems to want nothing more than to just get away from everything. Like before Sansa got there, he was just gonna leave and just go about his own thing. I don't feel like he wants to be a leader. He doesn't want to be a ruler, even though it's going to be forced upon him. He's gonna have to accept it eventually. But yeah. Do you think Sansa is pregnant? No, she would have been showing signs already if she was pregnant by Ramsay. How do you think Ramsay? How did Ramsay not know that Littlefinger's men were approaching Winterfell? That is a good question. I didn't even think about that. That very valid point. He should have. Maybe they just weren't expecting it, so they didn't have scouts. I mean, but someone at Winterfell should have blown a horn, like, or maybe that was them blowing the horn, but they were too late blowing it. If it was them, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That is a little bit questionable. Do you think that Dave and Dan have gotten arrogant to the? Yeah, I definitely think they've gotten arrogant, and that's nothing against. I mean, the show's great, but I definitely think they've gotten arrogant. I remember watching them talk for like season 3 or 4, where they were talking about we're getting to the point where we're gonna start making more and more changes from the book series, and I'm just like, why? And a lot of it seemed unnecessary, and I'm like, okay, basically, why do you feel as though you can tell a better story than George R. R. Martin? Because some of the events as they play out in the books would have translated great to television, in my opinion. And in some cases, it would have been better than what actually happened. So I think there is a lot of it is arrogance at first, and then after they've been getting a lot of backlash from more outspoken fans. I think that a lot of it has to do with now them being like, we're over Game of Thrones and we want to kind of rush it and get to the next great stage in our career. But at the same time, they're not realizing that Game of Thrones is probably the high part of their career. And that's not trying to talk down to these writers or anything, but this show is so wildly popular. They could continue this show for another 10 seasons and it would probably still be very successful. I mean, they could extend the show to well past season 10, honestly, if they really, really wanted to. But I feel like they're over it, and because they're over it, they're rushing it, which I don't think is right. I think that they could trust the show to someone that George R. R. Martin approves of, that really can spend the time to make the show what they said it was going to be initially. And I get I'm bitch moaning and complaining, but it's not like. But at the same time, they were the ones that said in the beginning, because I was there. I know a lot of you. I mean, I'm getting bitter again. Calm down. But at the same time, I know a lot of other people started watching the show later on, but I was here from the very beginning when they would give interviews and they'd say, we're just going to tell George R. R. Martin's story through the medium of television. And they were like, we assured him that we can tell his story, and try to keep it as close as possible. And George R. R. Martin was really happy after the first season. He said that was really on par with the books. And that's what everyone wanted, and it was going good. They're the ones that changed. It's not us that are like, yeah, man, now that it's different, because, I mean, it's not us that's just bitching and complaining for no reason. Like, if they had established from the very beginning that they were going to make these changes, then no one would complain as much. But they led us onto this ride telling us that it was going to be basically the TV version of the books. And it's not. It was the TV version of the books for like the first 3 or 4 seasons, and then it just became their own fan fiction that's loosely based on the books. And that's not my fault. I mean, if I'm pissed about it, then it's because they lied to us, and they did. It was a lie. I mean, because at this point, we could still at this very point be in the freaking 3rd book. We could be just now getting to the 3rd book and still have tons of material to cover. When they split season 3 in half, everyone knew it and everyone understood that, oh, because the third book is so long that they're going to split it into 2 seasons to cover it all. But then season 4 gets here and it's got stuff from A Dance with Dragons, it's got stuff from A Feast for Crows, it's got stuff from the third book in there. So like, what happened? So you do half of the third book for season 3, which is why season 3 was so good, because they were able to slow it down and just tell half of the story. And then season 4, they just kind of rush it, like just zoom. And then now it's just getting faster and faster and faster and faster because they want to quit. And that's not fair. That is not fair to the people that love this show. And that is the end of my rant. Okay. Jon Snow is a pawn in Sansa's game, in my opinion. Okay. Wait, go back. She's really good and cruel at it now. She's really good and cruel at it now. She could have saved Rickon because of her huge army, but she wanted him to die so she could rule. Ooh, oh, I like that. I like that. Even though it makes Sansa an evil, scheming cunt, I still like it. Because, I always used to discuss with my friends that read the books and watch the show. I used to discuss, I imagine that Cersei was a lot like Sansa. And that's why in those earlier seasons, she hates Sansa at the same time, but she kind of protects her and she kind of looks after her, because I feel like she sees a little bit of herself in Sansa, that very naive girl that was kind of just slapped in the face by the swinging cock of the world, and basically had a reality check. And Cersei took it and just became a bitter, evil bitch. And maybe Sansa will go the same way, but hopefully, if Sansa does end up as just like this ruthless, evil chick, then she does it better than Cersei. Because I want an evil queen that's like, just like, that you just love her because she's evil. She's an evil bitch, but she's an awesome evil bitch. Whatever. But I don't honestly think Sansa's doing that. I mean, she had a few good moments in this episode. And honestly, it could have came out better if she wasn't being such a freaking idiot a lot of the time. But you know how that is. Q&A, do you think there'll be White Walkers in episode 10? Of course. Of course there are going to be White Walkers in episode 10, because the wall might be coming down. I think it might be coming down. Do you think Brendan will become Stoneheart after his River revival? I'm keeping hope alive, but if Brendan does become Stoneheart, I would like it a lot, but at the same time, I'd be kind of annoyed, because I'd be like, why just not do Lady Stoneheart instead? But at the same time, I wouldn't complain, but I'd be inquisitive as to why just not Lady Stoneheart instead of Brendan. But whatever. If they do it, at least we get some version of Stoneheart. Okay. I think Jon will be very mistrusting of Baelish, and Sansa was mistrusting of Jon, considering their dialogue before the battle. Yeah, and there's no good is gonna come out of this whole Sansa and Peter Baelish thing. Like, she should just tell him to get his little happy self back to the Eyrie. I hope we're not about to see a stupid kiss between Sansa and Peter. I hope that's not where they're going with this whole, because I looked at the preview. Oh my god, I will cringe to death. I will cringe myself to death if I see Sansa and Peter kiss. Oh my god, because I saw the trailer and she's all like, "What do you want, Lord Baelish?" And he's like, "I thought you knew what I want." What he wants, Sansa, is to be Warden of the North. That's what he wants. Don't revert back to the idiot. You're pulling yourself up by just like the roots of the tree, and you're almost there trying to get to the surface. Don't fall back into this trap. You are a few steps into badassdom, Sansa. All you gotta do is be like, fuck you. You betrayed my dad. You put me in the hands of Ramsay. In fact, I'm not even gonna let you go back to the Eyrie. Throw him into the freaking dungeon at Winterfell. Ugh. Sansa, please don't fall into his trap. Please don't. I'm trusting in you. I'm trusting in you. I hope Sansa's playing Littlefinger, but I just don't see her as being smart enough. I don't know. Ugh, I don't want them to. Ugh, why do you guys want that? Guys, why? Why are you doing this? No one wants that. You guys really want that? That's gross. Do you think history repeats itself a lot? Mythical and legendary characters from the past. Okay, yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely. Um, so Daenerys embodies a lot of mythological characters from, well, mythological and historic characters in the Song of Ice and Fire. She's in part ways Aegon. She's in part ways Daenerys the Dreamer as well. And if you don't know about Daenerys the Dreamer, she was one of the Targaryen ladies in Valyria, and she foresaw the doom of Valyria because she had dreams that were prophetic, and she foresaw the doom of Valyria, and she's the reason that the Targaryens survived. And you don't know this if you're just a show watcher, but if you are a book reader, then you know that Dany sees into the future all the freaking time. Dany's dreams are so cryptic. If you haven't seen it, watch my video on. It's called Dreams and Spells: Understanding the Birth of Dragons, where I go into Dany's dreams in the first book, and I kind of pick them apart. And yeah, she's totally having prophetic dreams. There's so much prophecy and spells and all this stuff surrounding her. So she's totally a callback to Dany's the Dreamer, and their names even sound similar. And you got Tyrion, who is Land the Clever. It seems as though he's Land the Clever because he's everywhere. Um, can you imagine this story being told in like 1,000 years? They'd say, you have the dwarf who killed Joffrey. You have the dwarf who saved Meereen. You got the dwarf who saved the Blackwater, and they'd say he did all these things. That's why he said in the last episode, "I'm the most famous dwarf in the world." Like 1,000 years from now, Tyrion will be a legend. Dany will be a legend. So yeah, they're legendary figures reborn again. Like Tyrion will fall right back into the line. He'll fall right back into the line of Land the Clever. He'll be right on that level, I think. Do you think that the bodies piled? Okay, what'd you say? Do you think that the bodies piled? Did you think that the pile of bodies in the battle is a throwback to Littlefinger's pile of chaos speech in the previous seasons? Not necessarily, but now that you bring that up, what I do think is going to be a huge throwback to that, and it's when Cersei burns King's Landing, because he makes the whole thing about. Varys says Littlefinger would be king of the ashes. Um, Wait, what does he say? He said Littlefinger would burn this kingdom down if he could be king of the ashes. And they're talking about chaos and all this stuff. When Dany gets to King's Landing, it's gonna be burnt down. She already saw it in her vision. It's gonna be burnt and it's gonna be ruined. So she's gonna be queen of the ashes, basically. There's gonna be nothing there to rule over. And at that point, I think that'll be the point where she realizes that she has to go north and fight the White Walkers. But yeah, chaos. I mean, it seems like Littlefinger's speech it is more irrelevant now than ever because the chaos is coming to an end now. Like all the major battles and conflicts are being wrapped up because we're getting ready for the only one that matters, which is the battle of ice and fire between the White Walkers and mankind, supposedly. That seems like where they're leading. I don't feel like that's where that's where it's leading in the book. I feel like it's going to be more nuanced and more interesting than that. But it seems like in the show they're getting ready. The men are coming together. You got Dany and the Ironborn. You got Jon Snow and Sansa taking back the North and reuniting the North. We've got the events that are going on in the Riverlands with Walder Frey are about to play out. Maybe Jaime will die. Maybe Walder Frey will die. Somebody's dying. They're not putting this in the episode 10 if nothing's happening in the Riverlands. But when you guys shit your pants if Stoneheart showed up anyways, I don't know. I'd honestly be pissed. I'd honestly be pissed, but happy at the same time if Stoneheart showed up in like somewhere with Walder Frey. Could you elaborate on the prophecies Dany received? Have they all been fulfilled? Betrayal and such. A lot of them have been fulfilled. And then a lot of them from the books have been fulfilled in the show and not in the books yet. For instance, Dany sees herself beneath the Mother of Mountains. She sees the crones bow before her, and she hears people call her Misa and all that stuff. Now, that prophecy has been fulfilled in the show. You see that after she burns all the cows in that other episode, and they all in the crones bow before her. She foresaw that in the House of the Undying. And she also, in the House of the Undying, she sees when she takes Yunkai. and she sees all the people screaming, Misa, Misa, Misa. Dany foresees the Red Wedding. She sees, what else does she see? She sees the chaos in Westeros. It's more abstract. You might not get it because what she specifically sees in regards to chaos, she sees a beautiful woman, and he's being ravaged by like 5 dwarfs or something like that. And those dwarfs are supposed to represent each of the kings that are fighting for the realm, and at the same time they're killing the once beautiful realm. So she's seeing all these visions and stuff. There's a lot. There's like seriously a lot when it comes to Dany. Do you think there is an R plus L equals J hint in the crypts of Winterfell? Definitely. And I think Jon will see it when they go to bury Rickon in the crypts. Definitely. That's why. Because it also, I get it, they're going to bury Rickon in the crypts out of respect, but ever since Ned, they've just been breaking the rules of the crypts. Those are for the lords. I mean, I guess Rickon would have technically been a lord. He was technically lord of Winterfell for that short period of time because they think Bran's dead, I presume. So Rickon would have been technically lord, so he belongs in the crypt. But Lyanna, whatever. He wasn't officially lord yet. But yeah, definitely hints in the crypts, and we'll see all this in the next episode. And the next episode, we're gonna get so much, and I'm hyped. I am more hyped for the next episode than I was hyped for this episode. I'm so ready for it. It's gonna be great. How many viewers do I have at this point? Because I don't even know. I'll check, because I can't tell from here. I can't tell from here without, and I don't want to test my shitty internet and have it go out again. But I really honestly believe that before it was because of me playing the video, and HBO was getting pissed off at me like, you can't do that. That's Game of Thrones. Okay, I'll answer some more questions. Q&A, do you think Lady Stoneheart is going to... Probably not. I don't think she's coming. Oh, we got over 1,000. Oh, yeah, that's a record. That's a record. Do you think that Bran will command the Mad King to burn them all in the season finale? Let's see. Let's see. I hope so. That'd be interesting. That'd be cool. Oh, I've been waiting so long to see Bran. I'm so ready for it. Like, for me, Bran's story, I mean, I get that a lot of you don't think like this, but for me, Bran's story is the main story. And everybody else is secondary. Even though it's written in a way that Dany is being built up, Jon is being built up, Bran is really the bit that matters to me, and that's what I love. Okay. Sansa wanted Jon and Rickon to die. She's playing the game. You think so? I don't know. I mean, if she is, then if she is, then my like for Sansa just went up a lot. Not because... Yeah, I know I'm a fucked up person. I like evil people. I like Cersei because she's an evil cunt. I like Melisandre because she's evil, even though I want them both to die. But I just love me a good female villain, and I've been that way ever since The Wizard of Oz. Ever since The Wizard of Oz, I've loved it. I loved when Phoebe turned to the dark side on Charmed. That was great. I just love evil freaking powerful women. I mean, I guess it's a turn on or something. I don't know. How do you see the amount of viewers? I don't know. You guys can see them. I can't see them. By the way, if you are viewing, go ahead and give this video a like. If you have enjoyed the stream so far, regardless of these little problems that we had early on. But go ahead and give it a like, because I believe these likes stay on since I did schedule this one. I don't know how it works exactly. Do you believe the theory of the 3 dragons actually being possessed by the souls of Khal Drogo, Dany's child, and the witch coming true? Well, Drogon is definitely in some way, in my opinion, related to Drogo. I feel like that's Drogo's soul inside of Drogon. Maybe not actually, but I feel like he definitely represents that. As for the witch and Dany's child, no, I don't think so. I think that the prophecy, in particular, the stallion that mounts the world, that is what they were referring to. Drogo is Dany's stallion that mounts the world. That's what he is. Drogon, I mean. I can't stand all the time whiny Bran BS. Well, that's because of the way the show is doing it. I promise you, when that comes out in the books, it's gonna be much more solid. George R. Martin said we might see Dragon working. I know we're gonna see Dragon working. I feel like that's the way that the three heads thing is gonna be done. It's gonna be probably Jon on one dragon, Danny on one dragon, and then we got Bran working one dragon. I feel like that's the way it's gonna happen. Finally, the wolves return to Winterfell, except everybody's wolf is dead except for Jon Snow, and then his wolf isn't even around. And we're probably never gonna see Nymeria again. But if we do, we'll probably see her in next season, if anything. Do you believe that Arya will see? I hope we see Arya the next episode because maybe she'll have a scene that redeems the last scene she was in. Because honestly, I don't want to remember Arya's scene. I don't want to remember Arya in season 6 leaving off where we left it off. I mean, I get that a lot of people really like that. I am not Arya. I am not no one. I'm Arya Stark. But for me, I watched that blank face because I'm just like, do you think that is a reveal to me or something? Do you think, was that supposed to be like the big gazinga or something that I'm just supposed to be like, oh, like, we already fucking knew that. And I mean, and then it was just, I don't even, let's not even get into no one anymore. What about Stannis? He's dead. He's dead, man. Who do you think is going to kill Walder Frey? Someone. Stoneheart. That's my answer. Okay. Were the most bastards than Jon and Ramsay Battle of the Bastards? Were there more bastards than Jon and Ramsay the Battle of the Bastards? Oh, you're saying were. I'm sorry, guys. I have mild dyslexia. Were there more bastards than Jon and Ramsay the Battle of the... I don't get what you're saying, though. Were there more bastards there fighting? Probably. I'm pretty sure some of those wildlings were bastards. You think Stannis is alive in the show? I don't think so. I don't think he's alive in the show. I don't think Brienne would just lie about killing Stannis. Do you think the High Sparrow is on to Marjorie? Yeah, he's on to her, but he knows that she has to do what he says in order to be safe, basically. So he knows that she's not really into the faith like she says she is, but she's got to keep up the appearance. After season 6, episode 9, Battle of the Bastards, is it fair to say that Ramsay was a better strategist commander in battle than Jon? Definitely. Definitely. Even though Ramsay was a ruthless asshole, sacrificing his own men with the arrow and stuff, even though he was doing that, then he's still better than Jon because Jon charged. And that was just the biggest mistake that he could have made. He even says in the beginning of the episode, it's crucial that he charges us and that we don't charge him. It's crucial, and he does it anyways. And then, of course, the wildlings have to step in to save Jon because if Jon dies, then it's all for naught. I mean, no one's... I mean, come on, people. Jon Snow wouldn't have made that decision. What if Nymeria showed up at the end? Or what if Nymeria showed up to Walder Frey's party with her wolf pack at the end, and we presented? Oh my god, I would die. I would literally die of happiness if that happened. But that's only because I'm a book reader. If you're a show watcher, you've never even heard of this pack before, and you never even heard of Arya being able to warg before. So I feel like as a book reader, I'd see that and shit my pants. But as a show watcher, I would be more like, what the fuck just happened? And which is why I think they're probably not going to do it. Okay. What do you think? Okay, yeah, it went by too quickly. I don't even... Okay, show aside because they have no... Okay, show aside because they have no balls. Do you think Jon dies in the books again after resurrecting, supposedly in a similar battle? His character arc and purposes seem to be coming to an end. No, I don't think so. I think that we have to have Jon Snow's parentage reveal at least before his death. Okay. The sword Dawn was focused on in the Tower of Joy flashback, and Longclaw was focused on in this week's episode. Both swords look very similar. Same sword. I don't think they're the same sword. Longclaw is Mormont's family sword, so I don't think so. I'm not exactly sure how old Longclaw is, but Dawn is the ancient ancestral sword of House Dane. I mean, they why what would the Mormonts? How would the Mormonts end up with it? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Thoughts on the White Raven in the season finale trailer? There's a White Raven. Oh, the White Raven is supposed to symbolize winter. Winter has camp come. I didn't even know that was in the trailer. But yeah, when you see a White Raven, it's winter. That's what it's for. At the end of A Dance with Dragons, in the prologue. Oh my God, read the prologue. I suggest if you're not a book reader, um, go into a bookstore, download a PDF, do something, read the prologue of A Dance with Dragons before you watch this episode, and you're gonna be amazed because I feel like they're gonna tie it up in a similar way as they did at the end of A Dance with Dragons. Q&A from Wells. What do you think Jon will do when he knows what happened to Shireen? Um, I don't think he's gonna react as violently as Davos. I think Jon will more accept it. I don't think I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I don't think Jon wants to be followed by Melisandre. He'll probably tell her to fuck off, but he doesn't have any jurisdiction. He's not going to be like, burn her. I mean, he can't do that necessarily because he doesn't. I mean, what can he do? I mean, Davos can bitch all he wants, but at the end of the day, it already happened, and Melisandre is. Like, Melisandre, if it wasn't for her, Jon Snow wouldn't even be alive. So, I mean, I feel like Jon Snow would more side with Melisandre than the freaking even though Jon Snow doesn't want to be alive necessarily, but at the same time, he didn't even know Shireen that much. He knew her briefly, but uh, Melisandre will admit it, and I feel like that's probably the point where she takes off her necklace and she's like, "I'm actually old," and everyone's like, "What the fuck? You're old." Do you think that the show has become a lot more predictable and Hollywoodish, and maybe this has to do with the exploring plot beyond the books? Oh yeah, I mean, we pretty much established that. And it's fun. I enjoyed the fuck out of this episode. If I just turn off my brain and just stop being like, and just stop thinking about A Song of Ice and Fire and I just watch it for what it is. I mean, of course, I love freaking seeing the sexy fucking Daenerys Targaryen ride a dragon and burn these assholes alive. By the way, if you guys didn't see me just having an orgasm to this to the CG, I basically said earlier because I think this is a part where it might have went down, but CG in this episode, if you compare this to any other TV show, this CG gets 10 out of 10 every time because this CG, it rivals movie quality CG. There's no other show in history that's ever had CG this good. And that is just a fact. It is really good. And that is the high point of Game of Thrones, is that their visual effects team is amazing, always. Well, most of the time. Sometimes it's a little shoddy. But I said before that people never notice CG when it's good. Like right here, this dragon looks fucking amazing. But when it's bad, as soon as it's bad, that's when people bitch. People bitch when it's bad. But when it's good, it's really, really hard to do. Like I said, they've got multiple things going on here. They've got to put Dany on top of this dragon, and Dany is a real person on top of a CG model, and then they've got to make it look real and believable and have the dragon land beside her and have her crawl onto the dragon. It's absolutely incredible. Some of the best CG I've ever seen. But where the show starts to fall off is in writing. And if the show has had this same consistency of writing since season one, then no one would bitch, no one would complain. But since we're coming off of the mastery of George R. Martin, then of course we gotta bitch and complain. That's what we gotta do. Like this video yet again. I don't know. I'm just saying it. I don't even know if you guys can like this yet, or if it takes a while. But I'm just gonna keep telling you guys to like it because the more likes, the better. I think. How do the two other dragons get out? Tyrion released. Okay. I'm gonna tell you how it happens in the books because it is a little different. Well, it is a lot different in the books actually, but it is similar. In the books, Quentyn Martell of Dorne, who was Doran Martell, the guy in the wheelchair that got stabbed in episode 1, his other son, he sent that guy across the narrow sea to find Daenerys for a marriage proposal. You need some CG because you're boring. Okay, well, get off the fucking stream. Why are you here watching my boring fucking live stream? Okay? If I'm so boring. But anyways, Quentyn is sent by his father across the narrow sea to find Doran Martell, and not to find Daenerys Targaryen and to propose marriage. But the thing is, she rejects him. She's like, "No, I'm sorry, I'm already marrying his daughter," because she's married to his daughter at the time, and she's like, "I'm marrying him," and he's like, "Oh, I'm so sad." But then after Dany disappears, he gets it in his little head that I'm gonna go down to the dragon pit and try and tame one of these dragons in the same way that she just flew off in one of the dragons. So he goes down there and he sees that they've already broken off their chains and they've been burrowing upwards, trying to get out of the freaking pyramid, basically. And so I assume that they were, when Tyrion released them, they went backwards and they started burrowing upwards. Because in the show, they're too big to get out through that tiny door that Dany put them in. So they couldn't have them come out through the doors like they did in the books. Because in the book, like, he opens the door, the dragon fucking sets him on fire, and he gets out. I know that certain people think that Quentin is alive. I'm not one of those people. So it is what it is. No need to put YouTubers against each other. Some people think he's alive. Some people say he's dead. I'm leaning more towards the dead camp than the alive camp, and that's just me. Ghost. Yeah, Ghost wasn't in the battle because of the budget. Yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly why Ghost was not in the battle. It was totally a budgetary thing, and that's also why they've been killing off all the dire wolves, and that's also why they've waited so long to show the dragons, because they've been saving their budget for these last 2 episodes. And trust me when I say this next episode is gonna look great, if nothing else, because this is where all of the money is gonna pour into. Did the House of Black and White in the books have some philosophical purpose that the show completely missed? Yes, of course they did. Well, mainly they are assassins. That's what they do. They're a very secretive and exact and ancient order of assassins. And I say exact because when someone puts like when someone promises you to the faces god, that it has to be paid. No matter what, it has to be paid. That name has to be paid. So basically, the waif in the books, who's like this older chick, I don't even know if she's actually involved in assassinations, but she takes a potion every day to look young. But let's say the Faceless Men wanted to kill Arya. There wouldn't be a situation where they're chasing her through the streets. The way they would kill her would be how Jaqen kills those men at Harrenhal in season 2. Poison darts, poison arrows. Like, a dog might just suddenly attack her for no reason. No one would know why. Like, when a Faceless Man kills, it's very mysterious and very secretive. So it makes no sense to have the wave chasing Arya down the streets. It's absolutely nonsensical. It makes no sense. It's completely out of canon for both the show and the books. That's not just me being like, well, it's not like in the books, because it's not like how it's supposed to be in the show, too. It makes no sense. Basically, they worship death. Death is the only real god. They have to give names to death. No one is free from death. The Bravo see... not... Rewind. The Faceless Men first came out in Valyria. They came from the mines of Valyria. The Valyrians were terrible people, Daenerys' ancestors, by the way. If you were a slave in Valyria, you were going to be in literally a volcano, like mining for jewels in your entire life, and that's it. Oh my god. Why? Why do you gotta be an asshole? Yeah, darling. It's just YouTube. I know you're jealous because you don't have a channel and you can't be me. Don't try. Ooh, yeah. Sorry, I just went to a Mariah Carey show. But what was I saying? Yeah, they were in the mines of Valyria, and basically they say that there was one slave that decided that I'm just going to kill the other slaves because it's better than being a slave. And he only offered the gift of death to the slaves that wanted it, but to the masters he gave the gift of death to all of them. And it's also indicated that the Faceless Men might have actually had something to do with the doom of Valyria. Like that maybe they set up something in those mines and that they caused it some type of way. But we don't know for sure. It's all very mysterious because this is ancient history that we're doing. This is all ancient history that we're dealing with. Okay. So what's next? Okay. Q&A. Do you think that if Jon never changed his strategy to stop the prince move would have the pincer? Yeah, I totally think so. Like that's why it didn't make sense for Jon Snow to just do that. It was out of character. It didn't make any sense. Hi there. First time I've caught your video. First time I've caught your videos, and I have to say you do stand out above some other Game of Thrones related channels. Just subscribed. I'm really enjoying it. Well, thank you a lot for enjoying my channel. And if you are enjoying this, leave a like. I'm not saying anymore, guys. If you wanna, no, I'm not doing that. No, 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 no. Okay. What happened? Where is Lord Karstark? Who knows? Who knows? This show drops characters like dead bodies. Where's Gendry? Like who knows and who cares? Because really, like, what purpose could Gendry serve right now? I know you asked about the Karstark, but at the same time, what purpose could he serve right now? If the character isn't crucial, don't expect to see them. In my opinion. Uh, why does Mariah Carey suck? Honestly, honestly, people give her a hard time. Honestly, I think she was actually really good live, and let's move on from that because that has nothing to do with Game of Thrones. Um, Great channel, congrats. On the IMDb page, it says Michelle Farley is playing the Wandering Wolf. Honestly, at the end of season 4, I believe on the IMDb page it said that she was going to play a hooded woman. So IMDb page could be lying. That could just be something that somebody put up. We're gonna go for another 26 minutes, guys. That'll make this review a total of 2 hours long. It's my longest live stream ever. Uh, Braun. What about Braun? What about him? Um, yes, I got my luggage. That's how I'm able to do the live stream. They delivered it to my house, and it was great. Um, okay, what about Mira? That seems like an interesting. Why is Mira still around? Are we expecting a reveal with her parentage? Where her dad was at the Tower of Joy. So whatever happened there, it might have something to do with her. Like, which is why I feel like they're like George and them, they're gonna throw us for a loop because Mira is there too, and we got to remember it's Bran is the one that's seeing the Tower of Joy. Like Jon Snow, whatever with Jon Snow. What if there's something to do with Mira Reed in there? Like, and because if Bran knows something about what happened in that tower, and it has something to do with Mira, then then it makes perfect sense why she's with them. Like we understood why Jojen was there, and we understood why Jojen is gone now because he's no longer needed. And I guess you could say that Mira is there to kind of just help Bran, but why her specifically? Is there something special about her? Perhaps. Where the fuck is Light fucking Bringer? Who knows? It could be anywhere. It's coming. It's coming. Um, why doesn't Lyanna mention her ancestral sword? Why doesn't Lyanna mention her ancestral sword being carried by Jon? Shouldn't she be pissed or something? Yeah. I'm sure she knows what it looks like. Maybe she doesn't remember unless there was like a painting of it in the house somewhere. I'm pretty sure she knows that Gior took it to the wall. But yeah, she should. If anything, she should be like, "Hey, isn't that my ancestral sword?" But he did change the hilt a little bit. It is a wolf's hilt now instead of a bear's hilt, so it does look slightly different. So it is described a little differently. Will Tyrion live? He will live and probably till the end, and then if he dies, he'll die. I feel like the characters now, like Dany and Tyrion specifically, legendary characters. That's what they are, legendary characters. Q&A. Was 1-1 the last of the Giants? I know the books, there is more, but I know in the show they said he was the last. It's true. He's the last. He's the last of the Giants. Do you think that Dany will be a Mad King just like her dad? or why yes or why not. No. I mean, we've seen her struggle throughout. Oh crap! We've seen her struggle throughout. Oh, sorry. We've seen her struggle throughout the books and the show with her fiery, ruthless side and her gentle heart. And I feel like most of the time her gentle heart outweighs her ruthlessness. And she has Tyrion there to kind of help her out, but she does have to embrace the fire. That's the only way she can keep those dragons bound to her will, I think. That's why she still said one of the masters has to die. She was going to crucify them all. But as far as going completely off the deep end and becoming a full-on villain, I don't see that happening. It's because it's not in the character. It's just, like I said, mythic character, mythic legendary character. She's destined to save the world. Okay. Okay. Q&A. Do you think that maybe when Dany and Yara and Theon meet with Euron, Euron somehow get some horn from his pocket and unleash hell, maybe? Possibly. What's even more interesting, and that relates to a horn as well, it involves another horn. And I'm sorry about this, but I'm not entirely 100% sure if this is true in the books and the show. But when they find the dragon glass in the books, along with that dragon glass, at the Fist of the First Man, they find an old horn. And Sam has this horn, and he's taking it to the Sigil with him. What if that horn is actually the horn of Joramun? Okay. See, the thing is, in the books it says, and Joramun blew the horn of winter and woke dragons from the earth. Now, that is, waking dragons from the earth is mentioned in the World of Ice and Fire as well. And this is my next Song of Ice and Fire theory video, so I'm not going to give too much about it. But basically, the other time that that's mentioned, waking dragons from the earth, is during the breaking of the world, when the children of the forest shattered the arm of Dorne, and when the children of the forest created the marshlands by trying to shatter the neck. That's the only time that that wording is used, woke dragons, not woke dragons, but woke giants from the earth. So that has something to do with a giant earthquake. So can you imagine if Sam, just not even knowing that he's going to, just blows the horn all the way from the Citadel, and then the wall comes down? Can you believe that? That'd be crazy. I don't know if it literally means giants. That could just reference, the shaking of the earth. I know giants. I said dragons. Giants. Woke giants from the earth. Why do people care about Bronn? Okay, here is you guys' turn to here's my turn to ask you guys a question. For the people that really, really love Bronn, what is really great about Bronn? Tell me why you love Bronn so much. Just in like a little short sentence so it doesn't get too crowded. Just tell me why you love him. Because I would really like to know, because I don't get it. I don't really get the obsession with Bronn that's going on. Maybe you can convince me. Will we see giant ice spiders in this show? Yep, we're gonna see all of it. I'm holding it all up because if they're really rushing it, then we got to get to all the cool fantasy shit. We got to see the ice spiders. We got to see the freaking everything. I want everything. I want it all. Sam blew the horn in the books, didn't he? Did he? I don't actually recall. See, I'm falling off. I guess you guys gotta all unsubscribe and go, because of the banter. He's honest. He's funny. He's a badass. He's dreamy. He's a good fighter. He's funny and charming. He's funny. What does magic have to do with anything? Bronn doesn't have magic. He's self-serving. He's comic relief. See, I get it. He's comic relief, and he's charismatic. He's all these things, but he's also a waste of time, in my opinion. Like, we don't need that at this point. He was good when it was with Tyrion because they kind of played off each other. Tyrion was more serious more often than not, and then Bronn was more like, kind of joking. I get they're trying to do it with Bronn and Jaime, but honestly, Bronn and Jaime, that whole thing that died for me with Dorne. I probably would like it more if it wasn't with Dorne. Will we see Quaithe again? I'm hoping that we see Quaithe in the next episode because we really need that person to guide Dany and be like, you have to do this. Otherwise, I guess in the next episode, Dany's going to turn her eyes towards Westeros, but I don't know. But I really would like to see Quaithe one more time because she is such a cool character in the books, and you're always wondering what's going on with this chick. And it's gonna be sad if in the show they brought her in season 2, and then we don't see anything else from her. We don't know what she was all about. Like, why does she know so much about Dany? And it's kind of annoying to me that they've introduced these characters early on and set it up like they're gonna do more stuff with them, and then just don't do it, and it's just annoying. I don't know. I hope so. Any thoughts on Dany and Yara's future? Ugh, I don't know. I talked about this earlier. I shipped Dany and Melisandre, not Melisandre, but I shipped Dany and Melisandre, and Yara. I don't know. Yara. I don't know. She can, whatever. I don't try. I don't. Yara's not good enough for Daenerys. Daenerys is a freaking queen. Yara's not good enough for her. I don't think. I mean, but Melisandre, that chick's hot. Like, Melisandre's hot, and so is Dany. I want to see those two chicks go at it. But that's besides the point. Lyanna couldn't possibly know what Longclaw looks like. Yeah, she couldn't. And plus, it's got a wolf head instead of a bear's head at this point. So it would look. She wouldn't even know. Do you see the Khalasar in Westeros? Well, she's got to bring them there in order to take back the Seven Kingdoms. But after she does that, she's gonna have to get them back where they need to be pretty soon, because there's no way that these Dothraki are gonna be able to settle in Westeros. And like, I'm so worried, because unless they're just gonna completely let it go and just be like, oh, it just fixed the problem immediately. Because like I said before, the reason we stayed in Meereen so long was it was to demonstrate, when you go into like these group of people that have had the same culture for thousands of years and just say, no more of that, here's some new shit, they're going to revolt. Like, not everybody's going to deal with that. And it's going to be like, you're going to have these Dothraki in a strange world, in a strange land, and it's going to be a clash of cultures, man. It's going to be a clash of cultures like you've never seen before. Like, because they're so different in everything. Like, the Dothraki couldn't be more different from the Westerosi. But that's the thing. Maybe this is the moment where men of all races and of all cultures have to come together to stop the real threat, which is the White Walkers, presumably. This is so long. Yes, it is long. We've got 15 more minutes though, guys. So get your questions in. If I haven't gotten your question yet, ask it again. Could Lyanna have both Dany and Jon like twins? That is a possibility. That is a very distinct possibility. Where do you think Bran's story is going? Is he going to be used as just a narrative point, or will he serve in the Great Battle? I think Bran is the single most important character in this entire thing. Bran is central to everything. Bran is Father Time. Like every single point in this story, in some way, in my opinion, will connect to Bran. And yeah, I think Bran is crucial and essential to everything. Ice dragons, do I think they exist? Yes, they do exist. It's in the world of Ice and Fire. How will Jon learn about his parentage? I have no idea. It might have something to do with the crypts of Winterfell. Just might, but who knows? But honestly, I have no idea. Or if not, then it will have to have something to do with Bran, because that's the only way. It would have to have something to do with Bran. Cersei tries to burn King's Landing, but Jaime kills her to spot it. See, Jaime's in the Riverlands though, so how would he do that? He's in the Riverlands, so the idea of Jaime stopping her seems further and further from the truth, and yeah. So yeah, I don't think that's happening. I think it's burning. It's burning. In the books, did Rickon have an actual point to his character? I feel like he just shows up, but nothing happens, and I don't think it made an impact when he was killed by Ramsay. The only impact that it made is that he was, like, if he had lived, he would have been the Lord of Winterfell over Sansa. So they had to kill him so that Sansa could be the Lady of Winterfell. But yeah, in the books, he's kind of there, because he's a baby. He's just a little baby in the books. And he kind of just disappears with the wildling chick Asha, and he's not heard from again since the second book. So we don't know what's going on with Rickon. It's probably different from what happens here, but I feel like he'll probably die in the books also. And I feel like when he dies in the book, it might be more impactful, because this, I get they tried to give us like a sad moment in the show, Let's go to that scene. In the death of Rickon, they kind of tried to give us a sad little moment. And, you see Jon's face, and it's all sad, and Rickon's dead. I don't want to play the video because I don't want to. I'll just leave it here. They try to give us a sad moment, but it's like no one gives a flying fuck about Rickon in the show. Like, no one cares. He's been off the show for so long. And I feel like if George R. Martin does it, he'll be able to build the character back up so that you actually care a little bit before he dies. Like, George R. Martin is going to make you care. He's going to make you care before he kills a character. Okay. Yeah, Rickon's death did force Jon's reckless charge, but I didn't see Jon doing that. Like Sansa said, Rickon's not going to live. You're stupid if you think Rickon's going to live. He's heir to Winterfell. So, yeah, see, she was right. It's crazy that Sansa was right, but, it is what it is. Will Littlefinger find out about the White Walkers? Will he even care? I feel like the writers got lazy with Sansa and skipped her reaction. And also, Sansa didn't react at all to the giant 1-1 when she saw him. And yeah, if I was Sansa, my first priority would not be, oh, we gotta get home to Winterfell. My first priority would be like, okay, there are White Walkers coming. Let's get the hell out of the goddamn north. Let's go to Dorne. let's go all across the narrow. Let's get as far away from here as possible. Yeah, Sansa's reaction to there being White Walkers in the world and to that understanding is completely overblown. I feel like everyone's reaction is kind of just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Where's the Horn of Winter? I mean, I'm not even sure if the Horn of Winter exists in the show, but in the books, I think that it could be with Sam. I think that might be the horn that he has. Do you think that Bran is all the gods? Not necessarily. I think that Bran is maybe some of the gods, but specifically the old gods. I think that Bran is the old gods. Please, top 5 fighters of all time for Game of Thrones. Please mine are Sir Barristan, Jon the Viper, Mountain, Jaime. I mean, I can't do that on the spot. I can name some that I really like. Ned is one of my favorite fighters, even though he's not like an amazing fighter, but I do enjoy seeing him fight. Strong Belwas, love that guy. He's hilarious. Not in the show, but he's in the book. He's like this big guy with a big belly, and he's got like these 2 Aurochs and stuff, and he's got like all these scratches on his belly. Hangs out with Dany and Meereen. Arya Hota, freaking badass, obviously. The Sword of the Morning, freaking awesome, badass. So there are a few, not necessarily in any order, but I do. Yeah, there's a lot of great ones. No one was surprised by seeing 1-1. It's weird. Like, just a giant. It's a giant, like, yeah. Like, where'd they get a giant from? Like, like, do you realize that when people talk about giants in Westeros, most people are just like, yeah, whatever the fuck, giants. There are no giants in the world. So the fact that they see a giant standing right there, no one's like, what the fuck, is like, it's pretty weird, honestly. Will Tommen die on Sunday? And if so, who will become king? There's not gonna be a king because there's not gonna be a King's Landing. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, this is so, like, King's Landing is so over after episode 10, in my opinion. It's so over. Manderley Pie do you think is coming? Probably not. No, they haven't set it up in the show. They haven't set it up, so it's probably not happening. Maybe they'll have a little callback to it, maybe like a little tease to it, but probably not. Okay. Do you think that Archmaester Marwyn and the Glass Candles will be in the show? I was hoping so. Hopefully we get Sam at the end of this season, because I know that the Sam stuff for most people was really boring, and if you look at it at just face value, then it kind of was. But in the books, I mean, I was really excited to see Sam this season because I thought that he'd be going to the freaking Citadel. The Citadel. I thought he'd be going to the Citadel. But, I mean, I'm not sure if he is or not, because at the end of A Feast for Crows, when he goes to the Citadel, he encounters Marwyn, the Maester, who's like this crazy freaking wizard guy with this freaking magical candle that's burning. It's like a glass candle made of obsidian, and it's burning, and these are magical, and they've never been able to light them before, and they have no idea why it's lighting, but he's on some other stuff, and he's like, okay, I have to go find Daenerys, you stay here. And then after that guy leaves, there's even a bigger twist because the guy, Pate, who died in the prologue of A Feast for Crows, is standing right there talking to Sam. And then you come to the realization that it's not even Pate, it's actually the faceless man that wore the face of Jock and Hagar at the Citadel with the Sam for some weird purpose that no one knows about. And it's so exciting, and then it's just not in the show. And yeah, it's really disappointing. I was so excited to see that, but it's not in the show, and I'm so sad. But whatever. It's a whole thing, and I get it. I get it. They cut stuff for time, but in the books, every character gets their stuff. Everybody gets their good moments, and it's sad. Do you think Peter will betray? Wait. Oh, do I think Peter? Of course, Peter is gonna portray Sansa. Of course, that's what he does. That's all that he does. He betrays Sansa, and that's it. Did something just happen? Oh crap! My bad. Where is Benjen / Cold Hands taking Bran and Mira? He's taking. It looks like he's taking them south of the Wall, I believe, or perhaps to the Owl of Faces. That would be great because the Owl of Faces is basically the most powerful place for the children in the entire world. If Bran is really as powerful as they're saying he is, that place, that's the highest concentration of werewood trees anywhere. That's where the pact was made. So yeah, that's where he has to go. That's where he'd be strongest, I believe. Will Baratheon bastards rebuild House Baratheon? Nah. Because we don't. Do we even have? We only have one Baratheon bastard in the show, and that's Gendry. Even though there are more that are alive in the books, but there's only one in the show. Probably not. That's not happening. House Baratheon is gone. Like everybody's houses are dying out, and Stark's too. Because if Sansa, unless she's just like fuck it, I'm keeping my name and I'm giving my kids the Stark name, then the Stark name is dead. The Stark name is gone, which is sad. What do you think Peeta will ask? Peeta, is this Hunger Games? Will ask from Sansa in episode 10. He wants that pussy. Okay, that was a little bit over, but yeah, essentially that's what he wants. Essentially, and he wants to be Lord of Winterfell. That's what he wants. Do you believe the High Sparrow is Howland Reed? No, I don't. I don't buy into that theory. I don't buy into it, especially not in the show. How will Jon deal with Robert Glover? Not entirely sure. Isn't the question more about how Sansa will deal? I mean, people are kind of giving Jon all the powers. It's Sansa that is the Lady of Winterfell now. She has the power, not Jon. Jon is a bastard, like first and foremost. And yeah, it is what it is. Will Jon ever be legitimized? And if he wants to be, I feel like Jon should just accept his bastardness and just go with the flow. Why does it matter so much that he's legitimized? It shouldn't matter. All that should matter is what he's accomplished in the person that he is, not his name. That's not important. What do you think will happen to Melisandre now that Davos realized what she's done? I think he might try to kill her again, like he did in season 3, but I don't think he's gonna succeed because she's quite powerful at the end of the day, and I think she is needed in the wars to come. I do. When are we going to see the Ice Dragons, and could the Starks control them? Unless they set it up early on in season 7, I don't think we're going to see them in the show. But in the books, there are ice dragons supposedly in the Shivering Sea. And one idea that I really like, although I don't necessarily buy into it a lot, is that there's an ice dragon in the north that is called Winter. And he's also the Great Other, and that is just the thing that the White Walkers worship or get their power from. Now, that would be a cool, interesting twist, I think, of an ice dragon named Winter. But yeah. It is almost time to end this stream. We got 4 minutes, guys. What are your thoughts on the legendary sword Ice, which the current Valyrian steel sword is named after? There's a legendary... I thought Ice was the Stark's legendary sword. And then Ice no longer exists. I could be wrong. Am I wrong about this? I thought Ice was the Stark's legendary sword, and then they melted it down and created Oathkeeper and Widow's Wail. At least that's what I thought was going to happen. Will Varys be the one who kills Tommen? I think Cersei will probably lead to Tommen's death. Varys will end up killing someone with those little birds, though. Do you like Melisandre? What's your opinion of her? I think she is an evil bitch that does way more harm than she does good, but I still freaking love her. I like seeing her do fucked up shit, I must say. Will Dany reach Westeros by traveling east? In the books, I think so. In the show, probably not. In the show, probably not. Does Jaime know why Cersei is going to have a trial? Why doesn't he care? Good point. Because if you don't know this, in the books, there is none of this lovey-dovey stuff between Jaime and Cersei anymore. When Jaime releases Tyrion, in fact, all three of the Lannister children despise each other. They all despise each other. When Jaime releases Tyrion, Jaime informs Tyrion that the woman that he fell in love with when he was a kid and married, Tysha, actually wasn't a whore, and that father set the whole thing up. And so Tyrion gets really pissed, and it's like, well, Cersei's been fucking Moonboy and all the Oakhearts, and she doesn't even really love you. And then that really hurts Jaime, and then Tyrion hates Jaime, and he wants Jaime and Cersei's dead. Like, he hates both of them. And so Jaime's all pissed off at Cersei now, and he thinks in his head all the time that she's fucking all these other dudes. Like, literally, it says she's fucking Moonboy. Like, literally the word fucking. I'm not being vulgar. Like, George R. R. Martin puts that in there, like, over and over again. She's fucking Moonboy, or she's fucking Sir Oakheart. She's fucking all these guys. So he pretty much hates her. And at Cersei's most crucial moment, when she gets taken by the Faith Militant, she sends this desperate letter to Jaime, and he, like, crumbles it up and throws it in the fire or something. So, yeah. I'm spamming from London. What will happen when the three houses that support the House Stark... Wait. What will happen to the three houses that support the Stark's restoration? Spoils of war. What do you mean, what will happen to them? I mean, I feel like there can be some... You mean when Dany gets there? Because when Dany gets there, I feel like Dany will have to compromise in some way with him. I don't think she's just going to be like, execute the Starks. Because Tyrion is the cool... As long as Tyrion is there to be like, bitch, you're crazy... then I don't think she's going to go too far overboard with, like, trying to kill people. Winterfell is where the ice dragon... Winterfell. See, a friend of mine actually said something very similar to that the other day. That winter is the place where Winterfell. Interesting. That's an idea. That's a very cool idea. What's my final viewership rate, guys? What's my viewership looking like right now? And also, if you're watching this and you've enjoyed this so far... leave a like. I'll answer one more question. I'm gonna let you guys spam your questions, and then I'll turn around and then I'll look back at the screen, and whatever question I see first, that's gonna be the last question that I answer. We've been on here for 2 hours, and that's gonna be the final question. But what's my final viewership rate? Oh, that's nice. Over 1,000. Okay, I'm looking away in 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to turn back around in about 15 seconds to answer your question. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Oh, God, I can't even see. I can't even stop it. Okay. Oh, that's a bad question. Ugh. No, fuck it. I'm just gonna pick one. Okay, there you go. If you could choose between Dany, Jon, Bran, Mira, Jaime, Tyrion, or anyone else, you would choose to be Azor Ahai or the prince that was promised. Who would it be? Okay. My answer is Bran, because he was reborn amidst salt and smoke out of Winterfell. The Ironborn were there. Salt. It was on fire. Smoke. To wake dragons out of stone. Summer saw a dragon fly from the stones of Winterfell, and the bleeding star thing isn't really there, but Bran, whatever. It can loosely be Bran. I think it's Bran. And thank everyone for watching. This is the end of the live stream. Throw it a like if you enjoyed that live stream. I enjoyed it, even though we had a few issues in the very beginning, but it was fun. Thank you guys for coming. I had over 1,000 people here, which is incredible. Looked like it had a peak viewership of almost 1,500. That's amazing. I can't do more. I really can't do more because I really have to get going. I have to eat. I haven't eaten all day. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed and you're watching, go ahead and subscribe. You feel free to. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone. Love you guys too. I'll definitely do more. The next week we're gonna have to return back to my normal format for reviews, and then with the final bit we are going to. With the final, I think we'll probably do. I'll do my full season review, and then I'll do another live stream, and I'll just talk about the entire season. Thank you guys for watching.